Over the past 5 years, I've experienced a lot of trials and challenges, but one of the toughest things I've ever had to overcome was an addiction to pornography and masturbation. And one of the biggest hindrances to my freedom, my iPhone. And I'm sure you might be wondering, what about the iPhone was the problem? What does the iPhone have to do with desexualizing my brain from lust? And all of these questions can be answered with one word: accountability. And I don't know why this is not talked about a lot, but overcoming an addiction to pornography and masturbation can be one of the loneliest journeys anyone would ever face. Because unlike many other addictions like cigarettes, alcohol, where having an accountability partner is helpful to hold your hand, withhold you, and block access to that substance, with lust, how can an accountability partner block the images that are playing in your mind? So it can be a very lonely journey. And in the times that we are in, where sexual content and lustful media is the order of the day, it's hard to even put on your TV, without seeing some lustful ad. Recently, I was just watching the TV and, I saw an advertisement for a car tire, and it was promoted by a lady that was half naked. What does a tire have to do with a lady that is half naked? This is a pandemic. And though you can't control all the external variables, I can't control that, when I turn on my TV, I would see a lustful ad. I can't control that when I go on the street, I would see something that would incite lust. But one thing I can definitely control is my phone. My phone should be a safe, sane and controlled environment. But the iPhone was not giving me that control I was longing for. And if you've ever struggled with an addiction to pornography or masturbation, or you know someone who has, one of the first things that will be suggested to you is get an accountability partner, and when you meet an accountability partner, one of the first things that will be suggested to you is get an accountability app. And if you don't know what an accountability app is, it's just an app that, blocks access to adult content and websites. And this leads me to the 3 essential factors that are present with anyone that struggles with an addiction that they are likely ignoring. So if you know anyone that is struggling or you are struggling, please, I would like you to note this, because this could literally change your life. The 3 factors that are limiting your freedom are time, access, and desire. TAD. And we're going to be looking into the 3 of them right now. The first one is time. So I want you to imagine for a second that you don't have time. You don't have time for pornography. One of the first things that a lot of people suggest to people that are struggling is that, stay active, stay productive, get busy. So let's assume you do not have time. You don't have time to watch pornography, but you have access to it through your device or something, and you also have a desire for it. What do you think the outcome would be? And I'm going to give you a couple seconds to think about this. You would make time for it. Why? Because we make time for things that we desire. So getting busy is not the answer to this addiction problem. So let's look at the second one. The second one is access. And we're going to be talking a lot more about this in this video. So let's say you are able to block access to all pornography content. Maybe you stay off social media, you're off Netflix, you're off anything that can incite lust. So you block access, but you have time and you have a desire for pornography. What do you think the outcome of this would be? You would likely masturbate. Because though blocking access to your phone is good, you can't block access to the things that go on in your mind. And the last one is desire. So let's assume you don't have a desire for pornography, but you have time and you have access. Guess what? You are free, because you can't be tempted with what you don't have a desire for. So these are the 3 factors that should be present and should be acted upon to overcome an addiction to pornography. And I'm sure you are asking, can I ever get to a point where I do not desire pornography? Yes. And if you notice, I said pornography, desire pornography and not sex. A lot of people, in trying to overcome, they throw the baby with the bathwater and they're like, no, I don't want to have sex anymore. But your body was designed to react to sex. Recently, I did a class with over 40 people, a paid class with over 40 people, where I went in depth into these 3 essential steps, and I want to give you as a gift. Just check the link in my description after you watch this video to see how you can get it. And if you take the class and it helps you and it's insightful for you, come back here, give me a thank you message, or send me a tip. But in this video, I'd like us to focus on one of those factors: access. And I've just found out that, blocking access to pornography already drops the amount of temptation you experience by 60%. And over the past 5 years, I've tested over 60 parental control and internet filtering applications, and I found out that there are 2 types of apps that block access to pornography. They're the monitoring and filtering apps, and they are the apps we call the screenshot accountability apps. The monitoring and filtering apps are apps that literally work as they sound. They are apps that have presets and settings that block access to pornography. And they also enforce safe search. Enforcing safe search on Google, on Bing is super important because, you might have your little brother or little sister that maybe is looking for an image of a cowboy or a cowgirl, and you need to be sure that, the image that Google gives them is literally a country cowboy and a country cowgirl, not some other images that you might be thinking about. So that's why it is super important. And these monitoring and filtering apps, they do much more than this. But the only issue I found out with a lot of them is that they are easily bypassable. And the iPhone has something similar to this, and it's called screen time. For people that use the iPhone, I'm sure you'll be familiar with it, it works kind of the same way, but people use it to block, access to maybe an app, maybe like Instagram, you want to limit how much you use TikTok and all those things. But if you've used it for long, you will know that it is easily bypassable. With just a tap of a button, you can press ignore. And another thing about, setting up apps is that you need something that takes the power away from you. You shouldn't just be with the tap of a button able to press ignore. And that's one of the issues with screen time because, the same hand that set up those measures is the same hand that would disable them. You need something that takes the power away from you. And in my search of a better solution, I stumbled across an app called Truple. And Truple is a screenshot accountability app. And the way screenshot accountability apps work is that they take a random screenshot of your phone at random times and sends them to your accountability partner. Crazy, right? But to put your mind at peace, it automatically blurs the screenshot, with the power of AI and sends it to your accountability partner. And I so much love this approach because it keeps you on your toes. It helps accountability in a way that, is surreal because you know that your phone is being monitored. You don't have to, try not to go to any website. You're just living with the awareness that, my phone can be captured at any time and seen. And for me, it was beyond even that an accountability partner was seeing it. It helped me realize that God sees the things that I'm looking at on my phone. And so if you are even able to bypass, a particular website, maybe the filtering system would not pick up that, this is a pornographic website. It doesn't stop, what is being captured on your phone. So this was a much better and effective way for accountability. Now, here's the thing. As amazing as screenshot accountability is, it doesn't work on iPhones. Why? Data and privacy reasons. iPhone and Apple, they don't want any data to be leaving your phone to a third party, especially sensitive information like screenshots on your phone. And while I understand the security measures, I needed to take a drastic step, a step that kept me accountable. And the iPhone was literally limiting me from doing that. So I had to ditch my iPhone, I had to take that drastic step. And I moved to an Android. I moved to a Google Pixel. Thank God the Google Pixel made the transition a seamless one. But beyond that, it made me be able to be in control of my phone and use my phone in accountability in a way that I wanted to use it. I remember when I took some of these steps, people began to laugh at me. People were like, "Oh, you're weak, bro. You're too spiritual." The truth is, a lot of those people are still struggling with these addictions because I knew I had to take those steps to live like no one else, because a lot of people are struggling. And there's this quote that I like, and it says, to live like no one else, you have to be willing to live like no one else. You have to be living to live differently from how everybody lives their life. So my question for you is, what is holding you back? Is owning an iPhone holding you back from taking the steps that you need for freedom? Even Jesus said in the Bible that, if your eye causes you to lust, gouge it out and throw it away. And he didn't mean to remove your eye and throw it away. He just meant to take drastic steps that prevent you from sinning. I hope this video was helpful in making you take the next step in line with your freedom. And like I said, I have a gift for you. Check the description below. Take the class. I go in depth into all the things I did. Switching from an iPhone to an Android was not the only thing I did. There were many other things I had to do. I had to stop going to Netflix. There was literally a year I went off Instagram because I couldn't just handle the amount of sexual content that was coming from there. And these are some things that you would also have to do to gain this freedom that you so much desire. So in closing, Truthful is not the only app that, blocks access to pornography. There are other ones that iPhone users can use, because in the end, not everyone can ditch their iPhone and go for an Android like me. So there are other apps that can help you become accountable. And I talk more about them in this next video. So please watch this and I'm going to see you on there.